Okay, this is how I'm going to introduce Elias. Hi, Elias. I'm going to be interviewing Elias, and he's going to be giving us his perspective, his story. Elias served with the Princess Wales Own Regiment. He's a dear friend of mine and volunteered here because he graduated from St. Lawrence College as well. He's First Nations, and I'm going to have him tell us the story of his ancestors, his spirit, and his journey in life. Whew. Okay, this is Elias' first set, and this is going to be his first question that I'm going to ask him. So he has to not only count to 10, pay attention to his chest, he has to listen to my question. So in your life, what was the most positive lesson as a young man that you learned from your First Nations ancestry?
All right.
What number are you at?
7.
Okay. 8. 9. Hup. 10. Nice. How do you like the Duffalo bar?
It's good. Get a nice stretch in my chest.
Here, and we're good to go.
Okay. So I think there were a lot of lessons growing up through my bringing up, just around community, family, clans, and with our creation story as well. There's always been a big connection with not only our family, but then with the nature as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
you have, I heard 3 stories there. You have ancestor, Christian, and nature.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So there have been a lot of lessons that I've been taught and that I've learned just through my upbringing. So
Make sure you're in frame. Because you went back. Yeah, you're still in frame, but I'm going to move this to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you're important.
So I think that really it's about the biggest lesson I've learned is the idea of connectivity. That we're not separate. We're not, as people, we're not separate from each other. We all belong to the same universe, the same planet. We all rely on the same things to survive. But then as well, we're connected to the environment, to nature, because without trees and the animals and the water, all of these parts of nature, we wouldn't be able to sustain life here. Mm-hmm. So being able to understand that connectivity and understand our importance in it. So not taking more than we need, understanding that what we've been given here is enough to live and to live a good and happy life.
So you learned that as a young man?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hope, excuse me, sorry camera. Did you, I'm going to move in, we're going to improv this because I need to do my set. But how did you, with this lessons and with this knowledge, because I never learned that. I always thought we were separate. My mother's Jewish and my father, being Métis who didn't like himself, told me that I just tanned well and he tanned well. So there was no ancestral pride. So I grew up being a lone wolf. How did you integrate with your peers? Did you get along with people? Did you help fix problems? Like, what was that like as a young man with that knowledge?
Yeah. So I remember growing up on my reserve in Oneida. It was never, I didn't have many white friends. I didn't have many black friends or Asian friends or whatever. So it was really just me and my cousins, and we were all Indigenous.
And you all spoke the same language? Spiritual language,
exactly,
family language. Yeah.
Exactly. We understood each other. We knew where we were all coming from. So coming to, when we moved to Kingston, I was 7 years old, going into grade 2. So I remember we were here and I was meeting different people, different ethnicities, but in my mind, I didn't realize that we had come from different places. So growing up, I thought that we all had the same background, sort of ideas on life that I did. I thought that everybody sort of grew up with the same creation story, that people, I knew that they weren't native, I knew that they didn't hear the creation story, but I thought, well, they have some sort of story, they have some sort of heritage, they have somewhere that they came from, something that they believe in. And I think that that idea of having something to believe in, something larger than yourself, it creates a sense of just a sense of belonging. So I was always able to fit in well with people, just because I really did feel that just with my beliefs that I belonged. So that
And
was,
you do. When we met, I felt belonged in your community immediately, and you're here for a placement. So, but I felt that you accepted me. So thank you.
Exactly. So yeah, and I think that's a big part of it, is that acceptance. So growing up, and this is part of it, is being able to accept people for who they are, accept yourself for who you are. So it's always been important for me to not judge people on their actions in the past, and judge them on the person that they are now. Because people do change, and holding them accountable for the way that they are now is more important than looking at what they've done in the past to try to find out their behavior and things like that.
Cool. First question, I think, is beautifully answered. It's my set. Wow, I think this is really nice. So what I got from this to show that I compassionately listen is I relate to Elias because I grew up alone. I did not grow up with a creation story, and I didn't feel belonged, beloved, or that I belonged. I felt that I was foreign to this land, even though I wasn't, and I felt anger from it. So I think that's really incredible that through your creation story and through your amazing family and your ancestors that you had that belonging. I got that belonging now. I went to Edgewood and I got that at age 33. I'm 14 weeks old in my life, how I consider it. And you are fully developed spiritually. So first question, really well answered. Thank you, Elias. I think that's already started kicking off.